Hello my friends, welcome to another video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. In this video I am going to show you how I created a little snowman looking up at the falling snow. So here I have a small round dish that I'm tracing, and I'm using watercolor pencils because they seem to show up better on photo paper than a regular pencil. And I left a little open space there because that's where his carrot nose will be. So as you can see, I'm using coordinating colored pencils. Now I'm going to use masking fluid to mask off the snowman, but I actually started out making a mistake, and I'm using silicone brushes to apply the masking fluid because it doesn't stick to it. It's easy to clean off. But here I realized that I'm supposed to be putting the masking fluid inside the snowman. So because it was wet, I was able to remove it easily. Now if you don't have masking fluid, I suppose you can just be very careful applying the background ink. But I happen to have masking fluid and I find it very easy to use. So I'm going to mask off his nose. And now I'm switching to a larger silicone brush because the areas are much larger. And these silicone brushes work great for masking fluid. Once the masking fluid dries, it just peels off really easily. So for large areas like this, I find them easier to use. And of course, you can also use a brush. Just rub it, wet down the brush with some water and rub it on a bar of soap to create a coating so that your masking fluid doesn't stick to it. It'll be easier to remove. If you don't do that, your brush will be ruined. It's almost impossible to get the masking fluid off. You can also use a toothpick, you can use a cotton swab, whatever you have available. So here I'm just filling in the rest of the snowman because once I put down my background, I don't want any color to be on the snowman. And I think I didn't have to apply this much masking fluid. I could have just avoided those areas, but I wasn't thinking at the moment. And of course, once you apply your masking fluid, you have to make sure that it is completely dry. Do not try to paint over wet masking fluid because it will lift and ruin your painting. So I'm going to leave this to dry now. And here we are, it's dry. So now I'm taking a combination of blues and creating my background. I wanted it to be nice and bright. And you can see I'm being very gentle around the masking fluid because I don't want to disturb it and start lifting it. So I'm using a soft brush and just applying my ink to the brush and creating my background. Now I'm going to use my mini mister to create a pebbly background because I want to make it look as though there's falling snow. So from a distance, I'm giving it a couple of squirts, and you can see how it starts to look pebbly. That's one of my favorite backgrounds. And if you like the way it turns out the first time around, you can just dry it and continue from there. Or you can continue adding more layers of the alcohol. Drying in between is best. Make sure that the ink is completely dry before you attempt to remove the masking fluid, because if you have wet masking fluid, wet ink on the masking fluid, you can smear it when you're trying to remove the masking fluid. So here it's completely dry, and I'm removing the masking fluid, which is just so satisfying. And you can see I did get a little bit of ink on my snowman, but that's easily removed with a cotton swab and some alcohol. And now to add the details to the snowman, you can use alcohol ink pens, Micron pens, or your alcohol ink. I used some orange that I had on my dry palette with a brush, and I applied it to the nose. But you can do this again whatever way is easiest for you. I think an alcohol ink pen would have worked very well. And once I finished this video, I did take a POSCA pen and I created some larger snowflakes falling in the background, but I did not show it in this video. So now I'm using a large nib Micron pen to create his smiley mouth. And I'm just making circles, so it looks like he's looking up at the falling snow, and I think he's adorable. So now I'm using the same Micron pen to outline his carrot nose. And to outline his head. And then I'll be switching to a smaller Micron pen to add a little detail to his nose, the lines that you would normally see in a carrot. That's a 01 size nib. And very simple, just adding a couple of little lines. And he is finished. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.